It's a battle of the album. Hellfire Damnation versus Invincible Shield.
This is exactly the same thing, just 20 years earlier.
It's all about getting 1 million views on Instagram.
Oh, and that'll be hell of a tour.
We're all highly motivated, especially me.
So we are not going to see you as digital avatars in the future, no?
We don't give a about things like that. We just write great songs, and that's what we try to do.
New band comes along and, shows you how it's done.
Hopefully they can come up with a Number of the Beast or Wheels of Steel or something. Whether you can do that these days, I don't know.
Hello, you Metal Pilgrims, and welcome to yet another interview episode on the show. And today, I'm once again honored to welcome nobody else but Biff Byford of the mighty Saxon on the show. Biff, thank you so much for your time and joining.
How are you? Peter, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, I'm in Ukraine, so I'm as good as I can be here, of course. But it is what it is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Well, Biff, first of all, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I refuse to give up the Christmas mood. So Happy New Year to you, man.
Yeah, same to you, people over there. Yeah, definitely.
So, Biff, obviously the biggest news about Saxon these days is the release of your new studio album, Hellfire and Damnation, which is coming out on the 19th, right? Very, very soon.
19th of January.
Yeah. So could you talk a bit more about the creative process behind it? I know the title came from something your father used to say all the time. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a saying that people use in the north of England, if they're pissed off with their children. Hellfire and Damnation, what have you been doing? So that's where it comes from. But I've had the in my song title book for quite a few years, but I never sort of found a good enough riff to put it to, to put the two together. But Brian Tatler came up with a great riff, so I was able to slice in my idea, Hellfire and Damnation. It's a song about good and evil, basically. The fight between good and evil. It's been going on for, since the beginning of time.
That's cool, man. And I had a pleasure of listening to the album already. No, let me rephrase it. I had a pleasure of binge listening to it on repeat for several weeks now already. And I gotta say, to me, it is one of the heaviest albums Saxon have put out in a long time.
Well, it's heavy and melodic, actually. It's both.
Yeah, it is both. I think a perfect mix between the old school new wave of British heavy metal sound and this new modern, production sound.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, melodically, I think it's totally Saxon, with the mixture of the heavy riffs and the melodic vocal. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it.
Did you do anything differently this time? I mean, do you think that their lineup changes and having Brian Tatler in the band, has changed things up a bit for you?
Well, I think it made a difference with the guitar playing. He's a bit heavier player than Paul. Paul is. I mean, Paul's a bit more schizoid bluesy. I mean, Paul's a unique player, a fantastic player. But I think Brian's a bit more metal guitarist, actually. He's not a shredder, he plays very similar to Paul, but I just think his riffs are probably heavier, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think it made a difference to the album, definitely. But he wrote, we wrote 3 songs together, me and Brian. So obviously he contributed to the album, which is cool.
That's cool. I mean, Hellfire and Damnation is one. I'd guess by the guitar playing 1066, another one.
No? Yeah. I mean, we didn't do anything different recording than we usually do. We probably did it a lot quicker because we had a bit of a deadline for the Judas Priest tour that's coming along in March. Yeah. So I had a bit of a deadline. We didn't finish it until October 15th last year, which is not that long ago, really. So it hasn't been finished long. But we recorded very quickly. We did nearly all the guitars at my studio. So me and Andy shared the production. Maybe that's why it's better.
Again.
I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely something different about this album than Carpe Diem in a sort of magical way.
Yeah.
I think we rehearsed quite hard before we recorded the songs together. And then we did the drums and bass in Germany, more or less at the same time. And then we came to my studio in England and we did the guitars and I did the vocals there. And then we went to Andy's, did 2 more vocal there and a few guitar solos. I mean, Paul Quinn. Paul went down to Andy and did a couple of solos as well. So it was a pretty magical time for the album, really. Everything came together perfectly. It was a perfect storm.
You know, you started talking about this, and I just kind of want to reaffirm this, that the songs that were co-written together with Brian, and I love Paul, you know that, right? But I also told Brian that he is actually one of the reasons why I picked up a guitar back in the day, like specifically Brian Tatler for his riffs, you know, with Diamond Head back in the day. But the songs he co-wrote with you on this album, they do not scream Diamond Head. They are undeniably Saxon-like. So did you have to tweak them a bit?
We tweaked them a bit. Yeah, we tweaked them a bit. Not so much Hellfire Damnation. I shortened it a little bit, Hellfire Damnation. I took out a few choruses that were a little bit.
It'll be like extended version of MIE.
Yeah,
right?
just made it just focused the song a bit more. And we put in a new middle bit. That bit wasn't in there originally, you know, where it goes into the slow part in the middle of Hellfire. I think Madam Guillotine, I did a bit of editing on that. We changed that a little bit as well. I wanted him to have like more of a Dallas 1 p.m. type solo in the middle that went into this, like, you know, quite soulful, beautiful part. So yeah, and 1066 again. I think 1066, the guitar harmonies, I sung them to him, and he played the harmonies what I sang to him. So yeah, it was a good collaboration, really. We worked well together.
So do you feel like a coherent unit now at this point already? Do you feel like he's been, you know, that he's a part of the band properly now at this point?
Yeah, he's in the band, yeah. He's joined the band, definitely.
And going back to the production, working with Andy Sneap, did you guys actually embrace any of the new technologies that are helping musicians write music these days, or, you know, work on the album production?
Well, we use both. We use all technologies. You know, we're pretty sus with the technologies because we've grown up with it, you know, over the years. So we're pretty, we're pretty much, up to speed with all the technologies. So we use both. You know, we use Marshall amps and Marshall cabinets and record them, and sometimes we'll use a profile if we want some nice, you know, sort of chorusy sound. So we mix it up. You know, there's no drum samples on the album. It's all pretty much what Nigel played. There's no guitar loops or anything. It's pretty much what everybody played. So, which is why we were able to record it so fast, because there was really no time for me or Andy to go, oh no, let's do this a little bit better, or let's do that a bit better. And then we more or less went for it. I think I did a couple more vocals at Andy's. He wasn't quite happy with. I think it was maybe something in Roswell. He wanted me to sing it again. Mm-hmm. There was some problem with my microphone when I sang it with my son. So I just sang it again down there. So yeah, pretty good, really.
Would you mind using any AI either on this, in the future to help you write?
No, we don't use AI. We've used a bit of AI on the next video that comes out. They've sort of put in Roswell, and something came out. Mm-hmm. Some film sequences that aren't real, which look pretty cool actually. So we have used that in the next video, which people should people be able to check that out. But it's not really anything to do with music. It's more to do with visuals, you know.
So we are not going to see you as digital avatars in the future, no?
No, we're not going to see any avatars. Not while we're alive, anyway. So I mean, you can't really stop it when you're dead, can you? But no, we don't have any plans to do any avatars. We'll wait and see how the Kiss avatars look, shall we?
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see it. I have no idea how it's going to look like, and I have no idea.
Well, I took my wife to see ABBA yesterday.
Yeah? Really? How was it?
I bought a ticket for Christmas present. She used to watch them when she was 12 years old. So she's a bit younger than me. So I took her to see the ABBA, Avatar. Pretty good, actually.
Really? Like, I mean, did it feel like a real concert?
I think when it's in like a purpose-built building, mm-hmm. you can see it from all angles, you know. So, looks all right. It's worth going to see just for the lighting effects.
But did it feel more like you're in a cinema watching the movie?
No, it's not like it's not. It's 3-dimensional.
Cool.
Pretty cool.
No idea. Well, we'll see how it works out. Who knows? Maybe it will be the next standard of the industry. Who freaking knows, right?
I don't think so. I think it costs too much money.
That's true. It
costs millions. Yeah.
Gene said 200 mil or something like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, obviously Gene can afford it, can't he?
All right, let's go back to the album and everything. We started talking about Andy Sneap, and obviously Andy's part of another little project called Judas Priest, and you guys are about to have a very, very tight schedule going on the road together with Priest and Uriah Heep. Wow, and that'll be hell of a tour.
It's a great tour, and Andy's worked really hard on this album for us. He's got great sound. He's really happy with the way the album sounds for Saxon. So yeah, it's good. He was on the road with us. Obviously plays guitar in Judas Priest now, so it could be one big family, really.
Absolutely.
It's a battle of the albums.
That's true.
Hellfire Damnation versus Invincible Shield.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a real treat. And it's a funny thing. I mean, like, this is like, and we'll talk about this just in a couple of minutes, but you obviously played with Priest throughout the years, like many, many times, right? But I think the first and the only major run you did together, for a continuous period of time was back in 1981 when that album was released.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a real treat. And now you're coming out on the road with new albums of your own in 2024. Would you believe something like this would happen if someone would have told you in 1981? Yeah,
it's a strange thing, I mean, fate is a weird thing. And, it was the first European tour we did with Judas Priest. We'd never been to Europe before that. So, yeah, a lot of nostalgia there, a lot of memories, definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, with that, Bill, you guys should do a joint encore at least once or twice. That would be fucking awesome. Play something you grew up on.
It would be, yeah. We know it. I'm sure they know some Saxon songs. We know some Priest songs, definitely. So, yeah, it'd be good.
Absolutely.
And you could do an AC/DC song instead.
Yeah, so something like that, yeah. And after that, you're going on a cold headline tour together with Uriah Heep in the United States now, right? You just announced it.
Yeah.
So how are you going to decide who's going to, close which night? Are you going to flip a coin or something?
Well, we're leaving that up to the promoters, really. That whoever the promoter thinks is the bigger band in that city, then they'll close the show.
Okay.
That's how it will work. It's quite normal in America to switch headline spots. It's not really that common in Europe.
Yeah.
In America, it's quite common. Bands switch the closing.
Yeah.
I think the only time we did it was with we were going to do it. We were going to do it with I Stir. And I Stir. We did the first show. We headlined the first show. It was a co-headline thing. We did the first show, and then I said, "No, you can close the show." So we closed every show. So
that's cool.
So there you go.
When most of the bands of the classic heavy metal bands now release a new album every 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you do it very, very consistently. You remained one of the most consistent bands out of the classic bands in heavy metal, throughout your career. So how do you find inspiration and strength still? And do you think you'll be able to do that like Rolling Stones, until you 90?
Well, the thing is, we're all highly motivated, especially me. I'm always trying to write the perfect song. We always think we've got one song left, if you know what I mean, that we need to write. And I think sort of Brian coming along, he definitely thinks that he's got more to offer, So yeah, I think we'll just keep going until we stop.
In the last couple of years overall, there has been this resurgence of interest in this classic heavy metal. And 2024 will be like a a year of heavy metal. New Saxon album, new Priest album. Bruce Dickinson is releasing first new material in 18 years. And then a bunch of, younger bands are coming up. Tailgunner, Burning Witches, you name it. There are like a lot of them. And the interest in them is enormous. Why do you think it is so? And why do you think that, after a down period in the 90s, the interest in heavy metal has been on the rise ever since? And arguably higher now, some people say, than it was back in the late 70s.
I think there's been a massive there has been a massive resurgence in metal, and especially that new wave of British heavy metal, the British metal thing. So I mean, I think we're all riding a wave at the moment. That's looking good for bands. I mean, a lot of new bands, like you said, Burning Witches and things. They're doing quite well. So hopefully they can come up with, a Number of the Beast or Wheels of Steel or something, or the Crusader that jets them into the stratosphere. That's what they need. Whether you can do that these days, I don't know. But, back in the day, it was all about getting a record deal. Mm-hmm. These days, it's all about getting 1 million views on Instagram, which is the same thing, It's still promotion, so.
But do you think it is still possible for a metal band to skyrocket in this environment?
I think it's possible, yeah. I mean, there's been some bands, Amon and Map are doing really well. Ghost have gone stratospheric. They're not really metal, but they've got metal roots, so it definitely can happen if you've got the right songs. You just have to have a lot of luck. A lot of talent and a lot of luck, yeah.
But if we're being very honest, how many bands were in your local area back in the 1979 or 1980s? Still a lot, but only a couple made it, right? So it's the same thing, maybe a little bit
that's the lottery, though.
Yeah.
That's the lottery. That is the music business. It's you can write the best song in the world, and if nobody's heard them, then you might as well just play them at your local pub or to your mum and dad or something, because you have to get it out there. Back in the day, the record company got it out there. Now you have to basically, young bands have to get it out there themselves, or go on tour with bands like us, and get in front of an audience that's already exists. That's one of the ways to do it, to go on stage in front of the headline act and blow them off, as we used to say back in the day.
And it's a good thing. I think you'll be only happy if a new band comes along and, shows you how it's done, right?
It's always good for the fans. Obviously, if you're sat in the dressing room, somebody's going down incredible, you're like, well, yeah, what's happening here? But, you have to go on, you have to step up and take it, and do better. This is what it's all about,
Yeah.
It's, I mean, it's good. It's good, I think. I mean, young bands, good. I mean, obviously with Judas Priest, it's 3 established bands. There's no young acts on there, but we're going to come back across in November, I think, into Europe and see where we can play, and maybe we'll bring somebody like a Burning Witches with us, unless they go stratospheric meanwhile.
That would be awesome. That would be absolutely awesome. I hope by then you'll be able to visit Ukraine already.
Well, that would be special, wouldn't it? If we visited Ukraine, that would be good,
And going back to writing new material in this Spotify, Instagram, TikTok-oriented world, do you adjust your writing process today to be able to skyrocket on Spotify? Because this album has a spoken word intro, which technically is not really good for Spotify, or at this point you don't really give a crap about it.
We don't give a shit about things like that. We just write great songs, and that's what we try to do, and the intro is a separate song, isn't it? So that's pretty cool. But no, I don't concern myself with what properties think, like Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. But we don't let it influence us at all in our songwriting. I think once you start tailoring your music for for a sort of for a specific audience, I don't think it's fun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We write from the heart. The lyrics that I write are about things that interest me, and I like that.
And that's why I think so many people still love Saxon and the bands like you, right? Because I mean, you're true to the music you love.
Yeah, you know, we're honest with our fans. You know, we tell the fans how it is. You know, if somebody says to me, you know, the Destiny album's not very good, I'll go, yeah, right, yeah, fine. You know, it's your opinion, that's good. You know, I don't like it either, but you know, some people do love it. So you can't please everybody. So you just try to be honest and keep things, you know, straight down the line and just write great music. That's what we like to do, and that's what we try to do. You know.
And I also wanted to ask you about this one particular song because it really resonated with me. It's called "Pirates of the Airwaves" because I was born in USSR, where you know rock and roll and heavy metal was not really easily accessible. So it really reminded me how in the 80s people would tune into those illegal radios just to be able to hear something new, record it on tape, and secretly pass it along. But you know what it actually is about. Can you talk a bit more about it?
Well, yeah, I think the pirate radio stations, especially like you know in the Eastern Bloc countries back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, there was a lot of forces radio, like American forces radio and British forces radio that beamed everything into these countries, you know. So I think a lot of people got into, you know, metal music. But the song is really about the 60s when I was a boy. When I was a boy in the 60s, the BBC, you know, the very famous BBC, wouldn't play rock music on the radio. They said it was subversive and, you know, probably a little bit like Behind the Iron Curtain, really. But, you know, the government were trying to control the music and the way young people dressed and what music they listened to. And that's what, you know, all this swinging 60s, the miniskirt and all the rest of it, and the punk music and everything, it all came from that period. And we used to listen to these pirate stations, Radio Caroline, which was on a boat in the middle of the sea, Radio Luxembourg, which is in Belgium, near Belgium, that beamed into England. And we used to listen to all these songs that we couldn't listen to on the normal radio. The normal radio was all like opera and choirs and a little bit of zany comedy. And that was it. And it finished at 10 o'clock at night. So we all had to go to bed then. But that's when we used to be listening to these stations through the night, So that's what it's called.
Literally the same.
These guys were, these DJs that were on these places were absolutely megastars. They were rock stars of their day, you know.
This is exactly the same thing, just 20 years earlier.
That's right, exactly the same thing. If the young people want it, somebody will give it to them. That's how it works, and it still works for them today.
Well, Biff, thank you so much. As always, you know, I can speak forever, literally, but I know you have another interview coming up in a couple of minutes. So if you don't mind telling just any last words for all of your fans, old and new, all around the world, anything you want to share with them, I would absolutely love to air it.
Well, yeah, when we've, you know, the new album, check out the new album when it comes out. Obviously, if you can't afford it, then borrow it from somebody. You need to check it out. And, yeah, we're going to be touring Europe, so hopefully people will get to see us, especially from Ukraine. We never know. But that would be fantastic. You know, we're off to America in April, coming back again doing festivals. So we're really busy this year. And it's going to be fantastic to see everybody on the Hellfire Damnation World Tour. It'll be brilliant.
Absolutely awesome. This was Biff Byford, everyone, and Hellfire and Damnation will be out on the 19th of January, and the review for the album will be out in just 2 days after this video is released. Biff, thank you so much for coming once again here. It was a pleasure talking to you as always, and keep rocking.
Peace and quiet.